Hi Stampers, this is Trevis. Welcome to Video Friday. And so today we are going to make a card with the Bloom Impressions Designer Series paper. This paper is a freebie celebration paper. And this piece, oh, it's gorgeous. This piece is pretty too, but this piece, yeah, it's beautiful. So we're going to make a card with that today. I'm also going to use some vellum. And we used to carry cardstock vellum, but we don't carry it anymore. But of course, I bought some when I saw that it was on the clearance rack. And so if you don't have any vellum, you can just, buy a little pack of vellum and make this cute card. So let's get started today. I'm going to put the camera down and move this back a little so it's, there we go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is use my white thick cardstock. I scored it at 4 1/4. This is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. So I scored it at 5 1/4 because it is the thick cardstock, and it really works better if you score it ahead of time. Okay, so we have that. And then I have my designer series paper, and there is an up and a down on this. I don't know if you can tell, but there's like, the stems of the flowers, and so I'm going to go ahead and adhere this. Oh man, is this too short? Oh, did I not cut this right? Let's see, 5 1/2. Oh, I didn't cut that right. Okay, now it's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Like, got too much of a border. Okay, so now it's going to fit nicely on here because this is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my card. And then I'm going to use a current stamp set. It's called Country Flowers. You know how I like to combine the current with the new. So Country Flowers is a bundle that was offered. And now you can still get it, I think, but you have to buy them separately. So you can buy the stamp set and the dies separately, or you can just buy the stamp set if you want. So I'm going to put this aside. I have my vellum. And this again is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to do a little bit of scoring on here to show you how cool vellum can be. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to use my gray blade for scoring. And I'm going to put this at about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and I'm just going to score it. And I don't want to press too hard. Just want to press a little bit. I don't want to tear a hole in it. But it does make a nice score line when you do that. Okay, so I'm going to put it back in at 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to go up and down a couple times. And then I'm going to put it in 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to go up and down. Ooh, I felt it. Ooh, I hope I didn't cut through. Did it a little bit too heavy. So you have to be a little bit careful. You don't want to go too heavy-handed. Okay, so now what I have is a border. Now see, I got a little nervous on that one and I didn't do it thick enough. So now I'm going to do it a little bit thicker, a little bit harder. It's not going too crazy. Okay, so now I have these nice borders. I don't know if you can see them, but they are nice edges in here. This one's not as heavy because I got nervous. I get nervous when I feel like I'm going too hard on it. You can kind of feel like how hard you should go. There, that's better. And then, cardstock. Little piece of cardstock in there. And if you want to do more, you can keep going and make it, go a 1/2 inch and do a little more. So just go until you feel like it's right. Keep putting it in there until it feels right. I think that feels pretty good. Okay, so now I have a nice edge on my vellum. There's other tricks you can do with vellum. One is you can run it through your embossing folder, and I'm going to show you a card I made with that. I made this card. Okay, so I ran this through an embossing folder, and I glued it on top of my cardstock, my designer series paper, and it, I don't know if you can see, but it's like textured now. Very cool technique. Okay, so there's lots of things you can do with it. Now, the trick with adhering vellum is this. You can't, it's a little tricky to adhere because it really sees through anything you put. Like if I put this on the back, you'd be able to see it through the vellum. So you need to use maybe a little liquid glue, and that's probably how I'll adhere mine. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to bring in my silicone sheet. I'm going to see which side I want. I think I want this side up, so I'm going to put a little glue on this side. I'm going to put a little of our white glue on here. And I have an old sponge that I use specifically for glue. And I'm just going to dab a little bit on here. I don't want too much, because even this will show through if you're not careful. Okay, I can always add more if it's not sticking. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this down top of my designer series paper. And because that designer series paper is so bold, it shows through, but it's softer. And I just love how that looks. Okay, now I am ready to use my stamp set and my dies. So I did go ahead and stamp the teapot. I stamped it on Daffodil Delight, which is a coordinating color with this designer series paper. And I did cut it out ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment on here. And I'm just going to say Flower Market, because I think that is so cute. Flower Market. So I'm just going to stamp that on here. And then, so see how cute that is? Okay, now I'm going to stamp my flowers. Where's this? Oh, here it is. So I've used this stamp a lot. I even used it on vellum. Used it with StazOn. StazOn ink. So it's stained, and I don't recommend using StazOn on these photopolymer stamps, but sometimes you have to if you want to do watercoloring. So just a heads up that it will really, really stain your stamps. Now I'm just going to use some of my, since I did stamp that in Memento ink, I'm going to go ahead and use some of these bold blend markers. And now I'm going to color in some of these flowers. And these are all colors that are found in the designer series paper. I'm not going to do a lot of blending as far as using the light and dark. I'm strictly going to use the dark because I want this to really be a bold statement on top of that vellum. And so I'm going to go ahead and stamp these, color these in. Man, I just can't talk today. I'm going to color these in with these bold blend markers. Okay, it won't take me very long. I'm just going to color these in. So when you're using your blend markers, just be sure to go light touch. You don't want to destroy the tips of your markers. I've had this happen, believe me. And it feathers them, and it's just, it's not a good feeling when you open your markers and the tips are feathered, when there's still a lot of ink in the blend. But now you have a tip that you can no longer use. So I'm just going to, see this one's pretty feathered. It's kind of soft, so I'm going to use the other tip. This is my dark Daffodil Delight. This one was Azure Afternoon. So just giving you a heads up. I'm going to color this one. And so see, there's still a lot of ink in this blend, but the tip that I really like, which is the other end, is really feathered and not very usable at this point. So, you know, these aren't that expensive, but when you still have ink in there and then the tip is feathered, you know, not such a great feeling. And you can't just buy these individually anymore. You have to buy them in a set. And you want to make sure you hear that pop. When you hear that pop, you'll know that the blend is closed. So these are alcohol markers. And if you don't hear that pop and you let them go, they will evaporate. The alcohol will evaporate and your marker will dry up pretty quickly. So be sure you hear that pop when you put the lid on, and then you'll know that they're closed. All right, okay, almost done. Color this one in. Okay, could have done a little of this pre-work, but I'll color this one too. This is Melon Mambo, the dark melon. These are all the dark. This is Shy Shamrock. This is from the In Colors. And even if you're using this brush tip, you can still have a lot of accuracy with it because they're so pointy. That's why I prefer this tip. See how bright that's going to be? Ooh, it's going to be so pretty on top of that card, because the Vellum has just made that designer series paper very soft, and this is really going to pop. Okay, now I have a die to cut this out. Guess what? I'm just going to do it by hand. I'm going to do a little fussy cutting. You're like, oh, Trevis, you and your fussy cutting. Yeah, I know. I just like my fussy cutting. Sometimes I wonder why I even buy the dies. Just kidding. I like the dies. I'm really into, see how cute that cut out that center of that teapot. That would be hard to do if you're fussy cutting. That's one reason I get the dies, because they are faster. And if you're doing a class, people like the dies. They don't want a fussy cut. A lot of people don't like to fussy cut as much as I do. Yeah, I know. Just move your paper and not your scissors. See? Just goes pretty quickly. And you don't have to go all the way in. You can just go in as far as you want. You don't have to cut all the way in and get that. There's going to be a little white showing in here in the center anyway, so I don't really need to go too deep in. So here we are on Friday already. Man, the weeks go fast. It's been actually a warmer week here in St. Louis. Yay! We had such cold weather there for a while. Oof. And now it's warmed up a little, and then we are happy. Okay, so we have that. Now see how cute these look? Yeah. All right, bring our card back in. And now all I have to do is glue this on. Now I'm really liking this. Once I see it all put together, I see it in my head sometimes, and then I don't really see it until I make the card. Then I'm like, ooh, I like it. So I want that little edge to show, so I'm going to put this right above that edge. This down. I could pop these up, but that's okay. I'm going to do it flat. I don't want to pop it up because I just don't want to do that today. Okay, so you just want to hold that down until it adheres. Okay, so I don't want to take away from this. I want this to show. I want this to be pretty, and I'm not going to put anything else on here. I was thinking about putting some ribbon, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let that designer series paper be the show, and then this flower market is so cute. You can make this an anything card. This can be a birthday card. It could be, it's a little cheerful for a sympathy card, but you could make this a sympathy card. You can make this a Valentine. You can make it thinking of you, thank you card, really anything. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. My name is Trevis Bossler, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in St. Louis, Missouri. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all your likes and comments. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.